I shouldn't forget to stop it after because it's go live even afterwards. So please, Daniel, let me know when we finish that to go to YouTube, stop streaming that.
As soon as
We
you
are
can.
online. Wait. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the third day of International Documentary Film Festival après Varan. Daniel.
Oh mio beato, da quando ti costò l'avermi amato.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the third day of our International Film Documentary Festival après Varan. We have a special debate today concerning the future of distribution, and that is a carte blanche to DHL with our invited guest of Stripline Distribution, Gini Lorin, Alexandre Cornu from Tambour de Soie, and their other producer that will join us, France Television Movie. And I will present also Felix Duval, who works with Philippe Elusse, and Pauline Richard, who are here with us. Welcome. The panel will go on online on YouTube, and I will put it online on the Facebook of Festival Après Varan. Then you can follow us. We want that the idea of the panel came when at the beginning of the coronavirus, we were talking with Philippe what will happen to the distribution of the film, how we are going to distribute it on the world after corona, how can we distribute the documentary film in the world that is going in uncertainty time. And Philip was very positive at that time, and he continues to distribute the film. By the way, the beautiful film Les Heureuses that we are going to show in at 5:30 will be distributed by Philippe. So, Philippe, please, I will put you on the stage. Please. What will be the future of the distribution? We represent your company, DHL Distribution, first of all.
Yes, thank you, Mina, for invitation. Good evening, everybody. So yeah, and DHR, and no DHL. That's the spice of the thing, DHL. But it happens sometimes that somebody calls me and wants to deliver something around the world, and I always have to say, no, I'm not DHL, I'm DHR. DHR comes from the French, means direction, humaine, human, des ressources, of resources. And it's a kind of joke based on the famous job that every big company has within its offices, which is in French named DRH, and in English I think it's HDR, is it HDR, human direction of resources? No, anyway. I'm myself mixing a little with this definition, but it means HDR. We chose this name as a joke, but also seriously to say that what sounds important to us is to grant the direction of the resources to human beings at first, and not to machines, not to algorithms, not to any calculations, but mainly to human beings. Now, I use this name as a label. The company that now drives the distributions of movies is called Avec Cinema. And I'm very interested in what we can imagine together with the future of our activities, because of course, even before the pandemic, the distribution of movies and especially of documentaries in theaters was not so easy, as probably you know. But of course, with the pandemic, the problem is a little more accurate. And the first question is, how is it possible to distribute movies when the theaters are closed? Like it's the case not only in France, but also in Belgium, in Germany, in United States, in Spain, in Italy, and in many countries around the world. So we have to imagine what we can do so that the films still can travel around the world, still can meet audiences and publics, and how we can afford to see the movies that we are interested in. That's what we are going to debate today together, if you like. We have in our panel, we have, I know, some producers, also some fellow distributors. I could introduce here Gini Lorin, who sells movies, documentaries, I think documentaries mostly. Gini, she handled a World Sale documentary company based in Paris. And I could also welcome Pauline Richard, who is a fellow distributor. She works many times with a company called Les Films des Deux Rives. Is that right, Pauline? And maybe with some other distributors also, I think. She's been doing these activities for years, I think now. I don't know everybody, in fact. So some people came, so maybe we could give a few time to each other to present himself or herself. What do you think, Mina? Or are there already some questions from the audience? I think there are.
Yeah, I will put on. The thing is that let us, because we have just 1 hour for the discussion, and we can also give talk to everybody. Maybe let us, we start with 3 questions that you explain it with Gini and Alexandre and your colleagues, Felix, to what will be the future of distribution? How do you see it? We have been discussing, you said that Hollywood is not going to sell the films for the next 6 months. Then there is a place that we can put the documentary film, and maybe we can talk about how will be the distribution of the film in the virtual world of tomorrow. Maybe you explain what is your point of view, because you I have followed you. You have put in place distributing the film that you follow virtually. What will you do, and what are your plans for doing that in the next months that are coming, concerning also the pandemic? And maybe also Gini can come afterwards and talk about how will be the distribution of the film on the cinemas, and your colleagues that are here, Felix and Pauline. And also maybe this question can be also answered by Alexandre, who is here, and he can also have a production view of that. Let us talk about what you did up to now, because you were very active. You have been distributing the film under the corona, and you will continue to do that. And how will you work on? And then your colleagues also can join us. And then 2 more questions, and then we can ask question of the person who are arriving.
Okay. So the future of distribution and after this pandemic, and also what we can do under conditions of pandemic and restriction of theater openings. Well, during the spring, during the first period of closing for public theaters, we experimented with La 25e Heure, French company based in Paris, who set up a disposal for organizing public meetings and debates after films online. Well, this can be done a bit like what we are doing right now, in fact, but the special proposition was to work with the theaters that were closed, but they could invite the screening of the film. We could couple a screening of a film with a theater or with a cinema. So the screening was kind of under the name with the invitation of this cinema. This cinema would communicate on this screening to his usual audience by the way they use normally, newsletter, social Facebooks, and etc. And we would also share the result of the screenings. The audience would buy tickets online, of course, and we would share the result of the tickets with the cinema, with the theater. So that was a way, at the same time, to maintain contact between the audience, the public, and the cinema locally, and that was also a way to permit to the theaters a kind of economical life, continue a little business eventually when they were closed. That was quite interesting. I wouldn't say that we made as many connections as we probably would have made entries in normal conditions, but still we could have some good screenings with sometimes 30, 40, once or twice more than 100 connections, 100 participants, and with debates with directors, with other invited people after the film, and that's quite interesting. But I would say at the same time, it cannot really replace the real meeting and the pleasure we have to be together in a theater and to really meet like we meet in real life. So it's a solution, a temporary solution for a couple of weeks. We can wait until the theaters can open again. But I cannot imagine that as a complete replacement of the experience of joining together in a theater and sitting together in the dark and joining together when the light goes back into the room, and we are really in presence and can have an exchange. This will never be replaced by anything, I think. But we have to imagine some temporary solutions, and that was the case. There was another part in your question, but I don't want to be long. Sorry, when I speak English, I'm not as concise as I could be in French, but maybe another question, or I speak a little of the situation that is right now the case, as many American movies cannot be screened in France because they have contracts. They have to be shown in United States first before they come to Europe. Or sometimes it's not only a question of contract, but they just don't want to get on the screens under degraded conditions. They imagine that in the conditions we have now, because even when the theaters are not closed, we have limit hours, we have couvre-feu. Sorry, I forgot the word in English. But you know, everybody has to go back home at 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. and so.
Curfew.
Sorry?
Curfew.
Curfew, thank you.
Curfew.
So the movies for which the investment return is really huge and urgent, and cannot go out, cannot go on the screens under these conditions. Of course, no film likes to, and no producer and no distributor likes to go on screen under degraded conditions, but there are some of them for which the challenge or the risk is more enormous than other ones. And so that's why I think many of the what we call blockbusters are waiting for better fortune times to go on the screens. Maybe also because some of them have the possibility to wait 6 months or 1 year. They have the background. They can wait a little more. So at the same time, we are in a period. In which there will be, even when the theaters open again, there will be less films than usual. But there will also be the 40, 50, 60, 70 movies that were supposed to go on the screens last October or last spring in France, and that will try to come back on the screens again. So it's what we can say is that it's a completely unusual period, which can be for films that find it hard to find an access to the cinema screens as usual. It can be sometimes an opportunity to find maybe an easiest way. That's when I say that, I try to end on a few optimistic words in the middle of what we have to call a kind of wreck, but little optimistic possibility in the middle of this wreck.
Maybe if you agree, maybe before giving the talk to Gini, Lorin, and to Alexandre Cornu, maybe I can ask your colleagues, Felix and Pauline, to come on the stage with you. And then we can move on to the other distribution. Are you agree? Can I bring you on the stage, Felix? Épingler, okay. And no, I cannot épingler. What can I do?
It's okay.
Okay. Ajouter à l'épinglet. Et wait, I will bring. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, do you hear me?
Supprimer toutes les vidéos, mise en évidence.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Non, annulé. How can I... wait, ajouter épinglé. Yes, okay. So,
Yes.
yes, please.
No, I think Philippe said a lot about the situation, and but for me, maybe I can add the question about the kind of embouteillage, like for the next months on when the movies are going, the theater are going to be open again, and how can we think about this organization for the distribution of each movies, because there are going to be a little problem at this level.
Kind of traffic jam, you mean?
Yeah, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So yes, I think you took about the 25e heure, and it was a great challenge, and I don't know if it can. Yeah, for me, it can't replace the theater. So I don't know what to add more than what you said, because.
Yeah, but you're right to insist on this question of traffic jam, and the question that it gives just behind is that will there be a possibility of cooperation between cinemas, between distributors, between films? Will there be a possibility of cooperation, or will it be only competition? Will it be, like some say, will it be a kind of war? And in that case, the more powerful will impose their law, or will there be some initiative? Some say, for instance, we should at least have a kind of white week. We heard about this, a white week, when the theaters will open again. The distributors, all the film in presence would give at least 1 week of delay to permit to the films that were supposed to go on screen. I speak for France. When the theater closed, it was on the 28th of October. We, for instance, we in DHR, we had a movie that went out on the 28th of October, and the theaters closed on the 30th. So we had only 2 days of exposure in the end. There are at least, there is in France about 20 films that go out on screen every week. That means that for 6 weeks of closure imposed to the theater, there are at least more than 100 movies that were supposed to go out and that are waiting to be on the screen again. So even only one white week, it's very few, in fact, to give room to all these films. But it's even better than nothing. If we don't get it on not only a white week, but everybody is on the start line, and when the theater open, it's the biggest and the strongest that takes the place, for sure. There are many films that won't find the way to the screens. So the question is that, are we able to organize, to cooperate? Are we able to take care a little of each other, or will it be, as it's the case most of the time, a competition without any mercy? That's a question. Another question is, will the sanitary measures imposed by the authorities will be accepted? Because that's new. That happened only yesterday or the day before yesterday. But some people, some organizations now start to organize to address what's called in France the Conseil d'État, which is a a kind of a superior authority referring to the constitution, to the laws. And they tried to say that the measures of closing theaters and cinemas and concert halls while the churches, for instance, are opened, while the shops are opened, is an attempt to fundamental liberty, is an attempt to fundamental equity. And this is a process that could lead in a few days to an obligation to the state authorities to go back and to maybe authorize the cinemas to open again. So that's another. Are we going to fight? Are we going to give a real opposition to the authorities? That's another direction that seems to be possible now.
And Philippe?
Okay, Pauline, would you like to add something before we go to Gini, and then we go to Alexandre, and then we open the discussion for the questions afterwards? Pauline, can you say something, because you work with Philippe, and then we will pack up the discussion about your distribution, and then we will go how it is on the television in the world, and how is the point of view of the production. And then please be here for the question afterwards. Pauline.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. So I'm present myself just for 1 minute. I'm Pauline Richard, and I work since 10 years now in the film des deux rives distribution, and also Les Mutins de Pange, which is distributor, but also work on VOD and SVOD. So yes, I share the worries about the situation. It's something that we can say normally, because it's very passionate work, but very hard sometimes to find a place for the good movie we want to see on screen. And it is actually very even more important now because of the situation. And we have many ideas and many worries. It's very hard for me to think with the emergency, because the situation is so brutal, and we of course haven't prepared this horrible year. But of course there's some alternative and ideas to find the place for our movies. Philippe talked about the 25e heure, which is also a way that we choose for our movies. It was a very good experience to still work with the theaters, which is the main idea, to keep the link with the theaters. But as Philippe said, it's not really the same audience, and it's quite difficult to find the real audience that we used to have in theaters. So I really think that theaters, it's the main place, and I don't believe people who think that at the end of the cinema, at the end of the theaters, we have to find other ways. I don't believe that. I'm sure that maybe if it will take time, people will come back to cinema. We will have to be inventive and creative to find ideas and even more kind of operations. I don't know, it's not the good word, but something to create something attractive for the audience to come back. And of course it will be not something easy because maybe it will be the fight or the war, as you say, Philippe. I don't really. I really hope that people will be intelligent and with solidarity, because we really need that even more now. And if we work in a good way, there will be some room for all the movies. But as we know, it's not so easy, and we already see that it wasn't so easy. So I really hope that the solidarity will be here, and documentaries are made in a different way. Our work in distributions on documentaries is something very specific, with debates and with a really a place for the reflection and the debates. And I really hope that it will continue in this way, which is the most important for us. I hope, yes.
Thank you very much for your, you will stay with us. There are two filmmakers of this festival who are here, who have been contacted with you. That is Loredana Acquaviva, Ivigerini, and Georgi from Georgie, who is with us with their beautiful film. So I put you in contact, and I hope that they can be distributed in France with a very beautiful initiative that you have put. So the purpose of the festival is making connection. The better the family of Après-Varon is, the bigger we can be. So I put you in contact. I invite Gini on the stage to come and talk about the distribution on the international televisions.
Yes, hello everybody. So the situation is a bit different for me because I'm working only for television. So I have not the problem of theaters, of course. So in fact, my activity is to buy the right of the film once they are already completed. And then I'm trying to sell them to international television channels. So the situation is rather different for me. I have not the same problem that Philippe explained, in fact. So in France, the shooting are going on. So it allows, the production to keep going on and to make new films. So it's a good news for the TV producers, in fact, even if there are risk of have COVID risk during the shooting, which we have the case arrived already, that shooting are obliged to stop because there are some case of COVID during the shooting. So it's a big problem, in fact, because of insurance. You know that insurance don't insure, in fact, this kind of risk. So it's a difficult situation for the producers, but shooting have started again. So we have new documentaries on the market, in fact. For me, it was a bit difficult during the first staying home because the broadcasters were very slow to take decision to buy the programs. So it was very, very difficult. Now the situation is getting, everything is in order now. But we had a difficult situation before the summer because broadcasters were very, very slow to take decisions. So, so now, I am happy to have sell. I just these last days I have made a sale to Thailand, a film about autism. So we were really very happy with the director to have made this sale, and the film is now in NHK in Japan in evaluation. So the market is getting is starting again in television market. I think it's easier in television than theaters.
So you will have a lot of works for the couple of months that are coming because the television will need more film to sell. So even they are not shooting, but you can go and watch the other films that you can sell.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we'll be very happy in Après-Varon to suggest you some beautiful films that have
Yeah.
been made by the Après-Varon collective. These are very good films. Thank you very much, Gini. I will bring now on the stage Alexandre Cornu, that we will be very happy to see the beautiful film that he has produced, and you will listen to him on the Les Aurores. But Alexandre, what is your point of view now on what is happening during the Corona and after Corona? What will be the distribution and your relationship with the French distribution, also international distribution? Alexandre, please.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mina. Yes, the good thing for me in a way, let's try to be optimistic. The good thing is that the first lockdown shows us that people love contents, people love films, and they need films. They need to have this beauty. They need to have this kind of beautiful documentaries. They love it. So. When I discuss with colleagues or when I did discuss with people, I have really this feeling that people love films and they need films. So the lockdown was for me a big proof of that. So as Philippe said before, I think we will have a kind of a chance to expose our documentaries during the months just after the second lockdown, if of course theater open in 2 or 3 weeks, as we all wish, of course. But maybe during 6 months we can have a kind of slot, a special slot for film which are not blockbusters, of course, and which can find a place on theater during these 6 or 7 months before summer. So I cross my finger for that, and in a way I'm optimistic. In other way, I have to say that we are not in competition with this kind of blockbusters. So the thing is that we need that theater open, and yes, and theater will need to have our films to live, of course. So this is a kind of good deal for us and for them. Regarding the situation of production, during the first lockdown, it was clear that we do not make the film. We cannot shoot, or we cannot edit. We can edit, but it was a little bit complicated. So this is a real stop during the first lockdown. We optimize this time to write, propose, and a new film, but in a way it was really complicated to produce. During the second lockdown now, it's not exactly the same situation. Of course, as Gini said, we have the right to shoot or to make films. It's a little bit complicated because of the situation, but we more or less try to do that. I have just this strange feeling because with documentaries is 2 things, because we do not, how can I say that in English? It's quite impossible for a moment to shoot because of the mask. So for a kind of documentaries which are in real link with the real situation on France or outside, etc., it's complicated to shoot because when we prepare the film months ago or years ago, the situation was not the same. People we are going to shoot make a fantastic thing. They are in activities, and now when we are going to shoot them now, they do not the same kind of thing, of course, because they are more or less impacted by the lockdown. There is a mask, etc., etc. So are we able to do documentaries as we have done before, or I'm just just point out that because I think for documentaries in link with the real, not the real, with for example, for a kind of documentary in immersion or things like that, it's complicated. Of course, we can do still documentaries kind of historical documents, for example, it's okay because we have archive, we have person in interview, so they can leave the mask out and it's okay. But for some kind of documentaries, I think it will have a real impact. But as I said before, let's be optimistic because I know that people love documentaries, so we have to be creative and find a new way to do that and to co-produce, for example. I think the co-production is a very nice thing because when you can't go out of your frontier, when you can go in other countries to shoot, you can combine with colleague or with friend to make some shooting in countries that you can go or something like that. So I think we have to be creative and optimistic, of course.
Very positive and encouraging debates we have that shows us that we can continue to make our film, and even if the film that we made can find a solution on the distribution in France, also on the selling in the television, and also the production like you who can help also the film that has been done in a way without mask. So I will, I invite my colleagues who are here to come on the stage. The first question goes to Michel. Can I invite you on the stage? Michel, I will épingler you. Yes, you are here. Michel, please ask your question.
Okay, hello everybody. And yes, I'm a filmmaker too, but I'm also someone who works kind of supporting documentary in the review documentaire and various associations like that. And I kind of wanted to go back and remind us all that we've had so many years of discussing, you know, documentary and its special place, and you know, how to, as you said, the discussion many years ago was, as Philippe said, the magic moment when we turn on, when we're all in the dark together and we see a film in really good conditions, also with sound that we just can't have on a computer. I mean, we had the home cinema, and we were sort of hoping, a lot of cinephiles were hoping with the home cinema to kind of do something at home, and then they realized that that social dimension was lacking. And then we had, as Pauline said, all the work that people did to accompany documentaries and find the distributors said, okay, yes, okay, we'll do documentaries in the cinema. If you come and every day you find a person to come along and animate the discussion with the documentary. And so we've been working on this for a long time. And we've also been working on the role of DVD and video on demand. And I'm trying to think today, I'm a Parisian, but I'm in the country, and I'm surrounded by people who really love film and are very frustrated. And they are once again going to the Mediatek and taking out the DVDs and sharing the discussions and saying, have you seen this film? A little bit like people used to say about the television. Did you see such and such on television the other day? But there, even Tank, for example, we can kind of recreate, I think, some of that bond. And we were already very, very, very grateful to associations we have, you know, who we invited to screenings, and some of them also, I mean, you know, for the distributor, it's not so much money, but there were associations that took the films and used them to discuss subjects like, you know, the Moutin de Panurge is a sort of specialist in this. So I think we should also be thinking about that. I think we should be thinking again about how to use the DVD and use the VOD and set up meetings for people to discuss. You know, with tomorrow we'll have this film, and you see it the way you can see it, either by getting it from Tank or VOD or or going to your library, and then we'll have a discussion. I think maybe that could or seeing it on YouTube. Also, the number of people who are willing to put films on YouTube now, it's really amazing. And there are enormous riches that people are discovering, also being locked at home because they have the chance to see old classics on ArchiveNet, etc. So I think we should be as we were before, thinking about what does technology offer us, to go forward and do things and use the films and have discussions about political issues and etc. Voila, that's my feeling. I think we can't get stuck in this pessimism, right? Okay. I can't hear you, Mina. I think you're mute.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Very good suggestion. That also will show that there can be a connection and a collaboration, even stronger in future, between distributor in the television, producer, and the association that will working hard to keep the creation of documentary alive. So maybe we can. How do you see? How can you react to this suggestion of Michelle before Georgi and maybe Loredana, if have their questions? How can be this the future world of connection can work on between you, the companies? Maybe we launch this question before the others come. Because the world of tomorrow will be the world of connection. We will be in our computers at home, in the office, and we can build the world of tomorrow of what we had, the connection we had. Yeah. We cannot drink the coffee or have a wine together to know each other. We cannot make a festival in a scam and have a beautiful drink at the garden and know each other like we used to do before. So we knew each other from the last year festival, and we are now together on the Zoom together, and we are going to build something for our collaboration. And next, look, for example, the Georgi film has been a beautiful film in Georgia, beautiful distribution in Georgia. Loredana made a film in Corsica and with a producer in Corsica, which can be a very good film for the Italian television. Michelle made a beautiful film on medieval stories. These are the things that exist, and how can be this collaboration later on? How do you see that? Maybe each of you can say something, and maybe my colleagues, Emmanuel, Loredana, and Georgi, they have more questions, and Danielle, please.
Well, yeah, maybe one thing about the monde, influence of technological evolution, what happened with internet, what happened with the fact that now we can see so many things in good quality in streaming, the threat that is clearly existing on theaters by the exponential growth of platforms like Netflix, etc. I think this happened a few years ago with music. Remember, maybe 15 or 20 years ago, suddenly, all of a sudden, it was possible to download many musics, many songs that we used to get before on CDs and even before on tapes. And all of a sudden, it was possible to download all these, to copy all these, to share all this, and this is now happening with movies. And what happened in the music department is that, on a way, sure, it was more difficult to make economy with the supports, with the reproduction of music because of the copy, because of the circulation of creation this way. But at the same time, what happened is that the live music, the concerts, developed in parallel and got stronger and stronger at the same time. And finally, the artists would end making more business and economy on stage, on live. And of course, they had to abandon a part of the economy that came before with reproduction support and vinyl and after tapes and after CDs, because this was not operative anymore. I think we could imagine something like this emerge in the movie activity. And that maybe connects with what Michel or what Pauline said formerly, the importance of the movie production as an event, as a social life event in the city, a place where we meet, the cinema room as a social life important place. And it's even more important when we spend so many time at home on our screens to be able sometimes to go out in the city and to meet people, and to be able to meet and to eventually, after the screening and after sharing a discussion, sharing a drink or spend time together. That's so important. And I think this could in parallel develop as the circulation of movies increase exponentially on internet. And we, as distributors, I think we have our part to do about this. And of course, you directors and also all the partners that we can have, the people who make the films with us. As we say, as we used to say, I think it was René Vautier who said that, I don't make film on somebody, I make film with somebody. And all this means a participation of all the actors. I think we can all participate to make that a projection, a movie screening becomes a real event of our social life. That's the one direction I would like to work on and to share with you.
I think it's extremely right, Philippe, because I strongly believe that we can mix the two things. Because, for example, I just see my daughters. She's 16. You know, she is able to see films on that smartphone or something like that, and she absolutely loves to go outside and to go to theater to share the experience of see a film with people, and she loves that. And I think she saw last year more films than me on theater. Each week she's on theater, and she loves to see films. So this new generation, they perfectly understand that this is not the same to see a film on a computer or iPad or smartphone, or to have this experience, to share this experience, to have a film in theater. So yeah, I think we absolutely can combine the two things. And as Pauline said before, I'm sure there will be still some theater for a long time. We absolutely need that.
That's true. I think Loredana has a question,
Yes.
as a last question, and then we have to sum it up because we have to prepare for the next session. Loredana, please.
Yes. Hello, everybody. And sorry to join late, but I have a younger daughter, and I was busy with her. I'm new in this world, and this is my first long feature documentary film. I'm Italian. I live in Paris, and I have, after a long time, I've tried to finalized to finish my film, and a young distribution house in Corsica helped me, Alindi. And they born as a distribution, but they become producer of my film. But after we ended, they were busy in building their own platform online, which is called alindi.com. And so I really lived the experience how from the production, somehow we got lost in the distribution. And my film is today on the platform of the production house, of the distribution house, both. And but it was produced by France Trois Via Stella. And suddenly he had not big opportunity to travel, to be seen, neither in Italy, neither in France continental. And I found that is a bit sad. So how a film today with this new platform coming up, which is made by an Italian director living in France, how it can take up internationally. I mean, on parle de documentaire de création. Donc, documentaire, writer, how do you say in English? Auteur, documentary.
Creative documentary.
Thanks, Michelle. Yeah. That was the question. There is no answer.
Yes, but
maybe concerning television, Gini.
That's something really important.
Can I say?
This idea, we really need distributors not to feel that the film is dead, because that's what Philippe was talking about, was when the Hollywood blockbusters, when a film comes out, it has to be distributed right away, and if it comes out at the wrong time, it won't make all its money and all that kind of thing. Whereas there are distributors, like a few that I see in Paris, who go and find old films from 10 and 20 years ago and bring them back. And I think that's really important also to say that, and also the film that we're going to see, I think, is really important too, because it's an archive film, and it reminds us how precious it is to see old images and how people filmed a while ago. So I think that we have to also think about the fact that the films are not dead just because they just came out. We really need to appreciate looking back at the old films, what they used to call the second.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Very good remark. Gini wants to say the last word, because before we leave each other, because we have to stop it in 5 minutes. If not, we will be late for the screening at 5:30. Please, Gini.
Yes, thank you, Mina, to let me talk. Yes, I'm in contact currently with a TV in Poland, a private TV channel. We are negotiating the buying of a film. I propose to her, but she would like to buy a package of films. So if you have in your connection a film, with connection between France and Poland, please contact me, because, I have a broadcaster who want to buy films. So, I'm launching a call. If you have, connection, an also film, because, the films she wants to buy as the Brouillon d'un rêve. So, it's also film, in fact. It's not a commercial film. It's really a film from an author. So if you have in your connection a film with link between France and Poland, with a strong link with Poland, please contact me. Okay.
Okay.
We don't hear you.
Maybe, Mina, maybe just one word, connecting to what was said before by Michelle, and also
Loredana.
Also, yes. But something I wanted to tell also just before, the tempo, the agenda, the temporary side of the film's life. Of course, we were used to a model, and that has to deal with what we call in France chronologie des médias. The normal scheme is to concentrate When the film goes out on the movies, you have to concentrate on a period that goes shorter and shorter since years. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when a film went out, it could stay on screens for maybe 6 months, 8 months, almost a year. You had time. When a film went out in Paris, you had time. You had 2 months, 3 months to see it. Now, the films are more and more considered as not like living creations, but like short life creations. You have 3 months to 2 months to make the most of your entries in theaters, because you have to speed up to leave place to the VOD and SVOD business, and then you have to speed up to leave place to the TV business. All this because the investors have to have their investment back faster and faster, because everything is going now faster and faster. And this is the kind of infernal rhythm we have to try to stop, in fact, and say no. We don't want to work like this. We don't want to propose our films like films are not it's not yogurt or cheese or whatever. It's a long life product. It's a creation thing. So we have to reconquest our time of life, and that's only true for, that's not only true for films. It's true for every one of us. Every one of us. We have to take time, and I will, in a few days, I will with our company revendicate a kind of what we'll call it slow distribution, as we heard about slow food and slow, I don't know what. We revendicate the right and the opportunity and the possibility to practice slow distribution. So our film will deploy, will occupate not only space but time. We have to occupy time, and that's up to us. If we want, we are able to do it. But we are stronger than we think, I think. We just have to affirm what we are, and we'll get it.
Thank you for these words. It's very encouraging, really. Sorry to say that.
Yeah.
That is
nice to hear you.
That is beautiful to hear this conclusion.
Yeah.
And I have to thank everybody for this beautiful debate. The debate will be on YouTube, and you can find it on the page that I created today for the distribution. The YouTube things will be on the page that I sent you in the chat. You can save the chat, and you have the link of everybody who is here. I presented the film of Georgi, who is from Georgia, has a beautiful film. I put the link of his film, the film of Loredana, and also I put the link of the